They just can't make it easy, can they? Boy, kind of white-knuckling your way through the end of that game, but Yankees won. Let's be positive first. We'll talk about some of the issues in the bottom of the ninth inning later, but let's be positive. There's been a lot of negativity in recent days. The Yankees broke their 3-game losing streak, defeating the Detroit Tigers on Wednesday by a final score of 4-3, and they got an absolutely fantastic outing from Max Fried. 7 innings, 5 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. It was absolutely as dominant as that stat line would indicate. He has looked fantastic these last 2 starts. And he was fine in his first start. Just, there was some weirdness that happened there. Obviously, I guess technically he didn't get the win, but the Yankees got the win. But Max Fried was absolutely sensational in this game. And boy, does that look where would the Yankees be right now with all their injuries and everything else without Fried on the mound? They've won all 3 games he started for them this season and just absolutely shut down that Tigers lineup and really gave the Yankees offense a chance to get them back in this game and to win this game late. The Yankees did not score a run in this game until the 7th inning. So, this was 0-0 after 6. And then we saw Ben Rice just crank one out. Lefty on lefty, by the way. We knew Ben Rice's power was legit, especially in spring training when we saw the way he was hitting the ball. But I think it's unbelievably encouraging how he has 2 of his 3 homers this year against lefties. And against lefties, bullpen arms late in games. And look, it's been a common theme if you've watched the Yankees this year. The opposing teams are going to bring in lefty arms to face the Yankees. That's just what they're going to do. They're going to force you. They're going to force their left-handed hitters to make solid contact, / they're going to force their switch hitters who are better from the other side of the plate to go to their weaker side of the plate. That is the strategy that we have seen all season long so far, and odds are probably going to be the strategy you're going to see the rest of the way. And Ben Rice came through big time in this game with that 2-run home run in the 7th inning. Again, another chance for him to have some success there. And then the Yankees got some insurance runs that they did not know how much they would really need. There in the 9th inning, the captain came through with a 2-run single to give the Yankees a 4-0 lead heading into the 9th inning. And, at that point, the Tigers lineup has been completely shut down. You're feeling pretty good. You got 7 elite innings from Max Fried, a strong inning from Luke Weaver in the 8th, and now it's time to turn it over to that new closer. And things were just going to go swimmingly from there. It wasn't a safe situation, but it's okay. 4 runs. The Yankees need this win. What's the difference between 4 and 3? Blah, blah, blah. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. It wasn't quite fine. So it was a mess. Spencer Torkelson walked. I should say it became a mess. It wasn't always the mess to start because obviously after the Torkelson walk, he strikes out Dingler, he strikes out Colt Keith, and you're like, all right, here you go. You're up 4. You got a runner on first base. You got 2 outs. You got bottom of the lineup guys now. It's fine. This is the Yankees are gonna, the Yankees are gonna be able to be fine. They got the 7, 8, 9 coming up now with 2 outs, a runner on first. You have a 4-run lead. Everything is gonna be fine and dandy, and we're gonna ride off into the sunset. And I think everything was not fine and dandy. So from that point forward, Javier Baez singled. Former Yankees prospect Trey Sweeney came in to pitch hit and had Sweeney 0-2. 1 strike away, 0-2. And Sweeney comes back and walks. Okay. Then you get a wild pitch. Where Torkelson comes in and scores. And it was just, and all of a sudden you have all these scenarios now where, and then McKinstry singles to right, 2 runs come in, and now all of a sudden it's a 4-3 game. You've got runners on base. It's looking like, oh my God, are the Yankees going to blow a 4-0 lead in the 9th inning? And Aaron Boone comes in, relieves Devin Williams to Mark Leiter. Leiter gets a fly out, short center field by Justin Henry Malloy. So the Yankees win. They stopped their losing streak. Thank goodness. They improved to 7-5. So that's, wanted this to be 8-4. We talked about that before the series. You wanted to come back home. We're heading to this off day on Thursday here with an 8-4 record at 7-5. I guess it could have been worse, but this was a big win to stop the loss. And want to give Max Fried a ton of kudos. Want to give Ben Rice a ton of kudos. Him being able to hit left-handed pitching for power the way he has this year is going to be a real asset for the Yankees. And I know there's going to be some lineup decisions that are going to need to be made when Giancarlo Stanton comes back. How often is Ben Rice going to play first with Goldschmidt there? How often is he going to DH? How often is he going to play behind the plate? Again, the Yankees say they want to play him a little bit behind the plate, but we'll see if they do when the time comes to it. But I know they're going to want that bat in the lineup. And the fact that you can keep him out there and keep him high in the order against lefties is extremely encouraging on that front. But so those are the main takeaways. The main takeaway today would be just a great at-bat, great power from Ben Rice, who continues to be really clutch for the Yankees. And that Max Fried so far through 3 starts looks like he's worth every single penny of the monster contract the Yankees handed him this offseason. So I want to start out with the power of positivity there, and that it is. You win, your ace looks great, your couple young guys come through, you win 4-3. Let's talk about the rough stuff. Let's talk about the other element. And let's talk about, quite frankly, the thing that I think you're going to hear more about than even Max Fried's great start. And that's Devin Williams. Obviously, the Yankees, brought him in this offseason. He has been credited, although I would say he should be partially credited, but I think he's getting the full credit for the Yankees changing up their beard policy. I don't think it's that simple. The Yankees have had far better players put up protests than Devin Williams about this. But obviously, he was in the center of some of these conversations. And it's been rough for him now. So he's made 4 appearances for the Yankees. He's pitched 3 innings combined in those 4 appearances. Has 2 losses. And he has given up 4 earned runs and 5 total runs. In those 3 innings, he has allowed 5 hits, 4 walks, and he has 5 strikeouts. But that opening day was a bit of an adventure. Went on the paternity list after, came back in a game April 4th in Pittsburgh, looked perfectly fine, got through his 1 inning, was called on in extra innings 2 days later in Pittsburgh, obviously gives up the game-losing hit to Tommy Pham where the ghost runner comes around to score. And then 3 days later, he has this almost complete meltdown in the 9th inning when he was given a 4-0 lead. So it's a little concerning. This is a player that does have a history of success. Like, this is not somebody that was a 1-year wonder. Like, you signed this guy and, maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe he's not the guy you thought he was. This is somebody that's had a significant amount of success for pretty much his entire tenure in Major League Baseball, even before he was like the true closer. You look from the pandemic year in 2020 on, like, he has been undisputedly one of the best relievers in baseball. So this is not somebody that was, 1-year wonder that's regressing or something of that nature. He's been pretty dominant since he's made it to the major leagues, and particularly dominant here over the last 5 seasons. But this is a little concerning. He has been very shaky this year. He himself admitted after the game that he doesn't feel like there's anything wrong. There's nothing like hurting him or bothering him in terms of, physically, but he says he doesn't quite feel like himself yet. And and I don't know what to make of that. There's going to be a lot of clamoring, and understandably so, for Luke Weaver to get those high leverage situations. He pitched extremely well last season in those big moments. He's pitched very well so far this season whenever he's been called upon. And quite frankly, he's a fan favorite for Yankees fans for not only his success in high leverage moments last season, but for his personality, what he's able to do on social media, Weave's World, and you see him on Yes Network, and you see him on Yankee social medias. Like, he is a huge favorite of many Yankees fans, and you combine that with the success that he's had dating back to last year, I understand why people are calling for him to be the clear closer. I don't expect Aaron Boone to make any sort of announcement like that. Will we see Devin Williams get the next save situation? I have about 60-40 yes on that. The fact that he and Weaver both pitched today and there's an off day, means they both should be available if they are needed in game 1 of the San Francisco series on Friday. But I would imagine that Williams is going to get the next opportunity. I'm not fully confident in that, but I think he'll get the next opportunity. If he struggles again, then I do think somebody else gets the following opportunity. I think he's going to give Devin Williams a chance to get right. I think he would love to have a 3-run lead in the 9th inning against San Francisco. Well, obviously for a number of reasons, but particularly in this case, to let Williams come in a safe situation and get right, particularly at home in front of the home crowd. But if he blows a save or gets rocked or is shaky in front of that home crowd at any point in that San Francisco series, I do think there's a chance that they go to somebody else, at least short term. The reality of the situation is Luke Weaver's been here. Everybody else, most of the other players in that bullpen have been here with Boone and have earned some level of confidence. Williams is still new. And early impressions and first impressions matter. And that's not to say that, look, it is April. We see this all the time. Guys that start the year as closers don't always finish the year as closers, vice versa. You see guys in a lot of different roles. But, the Clay Holmes journey last year was all over the place as well. I don't think any of us would have expected Luke Weaver to be in that conversation, trying to close games out in the ALCS and the World Series like he was when the season began. But it is something to monitor, and it is the point that is going to probably be the most talked about point coming out of this game. And through the off day, I will not be surprised if Aaron Boone's already going to be answering questions later today as you're listening to this about who his closer is, who's going to get the next save opportunity, and he's not going to give you an answer. You're not going to get an answer that's going to be worthwhile. But if you're asking me, I do think Williams gets the next shot. But 2 shots from now is not guaranteed. But hey, you know what? At the end of the day, the Yankees won. They stopped the losing streak. It's making a much better trip home, and hopefully they can start the Giants series on a strong note, and that will be the topic that we will talk about on Friday morning as we lead into the series. Because it is an off day, we don't have a game to recap. The Friday morning episode will be all about previewing the Giants series, any other news and notes that's come out about a variety of injuries. Maybe there's a chance Aaron Boone does say something worthwhile about the closer situation. I'm sure we'll talk about that as well. But until then, enjoy the Yankees off day today, and we will be back on Friday morning.